we are going to be going over what's called the power property. So in your journal, if you would, title this Power of Products and Quotients. Basically, just Power of Products should be fine to title it into your journal. What I'd like you to do is I would like you guys to write a to the power of m raised to the power of n equals a to the power of m times n. So this is called the power property. It's what we're going to be working on today. So kind of give you guys an idea of what this means, okay? So we'll do this one in just a second. I'm going to do a quick little example. What if I said x to the power of 5 and I decided to cube that? I want you to understand what this actually means. This means x to the power of 5 being multiplied to itself how many times? 3 times. So think of it this way. What's 5 plus 5 plus 5? So this is the product property. This is what we did yesterday. What are we allowed to do with all these exponents? Just add them together. But what's the faster way? If you have a power to a power, what can you do with these two guys? You can multiply them together. This is the only time you're allowed to multiply them together. So do you guys see the difference between the power property, which is here, and what is this referred to? Oh, that's horrible. What is all of this referred to? We did it yesterday. That's not the power. That's the product property. And 15 is because we did 5 plus 5 plus 5. Now, if you want to get better at things, you always write them down because that's the only way your brain actually has to work. If you're just watching me do the math, your brain's not really working. In fact, you're probably thinking of other things than actually doing the math. You're probably thinking of, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Or what am I going to watch tonight? Or I'm just really tired. But if you're writing stuff down, your brain actually has to work while you're writing things down, and it will help you remember it. Okay? So let's take a look at our problem here. If you can't see it, it says a to the power of -2 times 8 to the power of 7, and then it is being raised to the power of 2. So what is our power right there? 2. What's our power right here? 7. And our power right here is? This is called power to a power, so I have to multiply 2 to the 7 and 2 to the -2. So what is -2 times 2? -4, very right. And what's 2 times 7? 14. So it's times 8 to the power of 14. Does anybody see an answer choice that looks right there? That works. Okay? And it says how many answers? Choose one answer. Now, before we select it, I want you to understand one thing that sometimes confuses students. If you have a negative exponent and you want to make it positive, you can either shift it above or below the fraction. So 1 over a to the power of 4 is the same as a to the power of -4. Those are called equivalent. That means they are equal to. They're equal expressions. They're equivalent expressions. Okay? Now, I didn't need to know that for this one. Okay? But I'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Here we go. If you can't see it, I'm going to write it a little bit bigger. I have 8 to the power of -5 over 2 to the power of -2. And what's our power way up here? It's the power of what? -4. So what's the power on the outside of the parentheses? -4. So what am I going to do with that -4? I'm going to apply it to this power and to this power. So what is it when I say apply it? Like multiply. What is a negative times a negative? So that's going to be 8 to the power of 20. And what do I also have to do? I got to multiply it to this guy down here, and that becomes 2 to the power of 8. These are equivalent expressions. Does everybody see? It says choose how many answers? 1. So 8 to the power of 20, 2 to the power of 8, right there. That's going to be the answer that I choose. So what am I doing right now? Just multiplying my power to a power. That's called the power property. All right, let's do another one. 3 to the power, I think it says of 6, over y to the power of -5, and it looks like I am squaring it. So what am I doing with this 2? I'm multiplying it to that guy and multiplying it to that guy. So what am I going to have in the numerator? What do you guys think? 3 to the power of 12. Very good. What am I going to have in the denominator? Y to the power of -10. All right. Now, understand, there's y to the power of -10, but what does that say? 3 to the power of 6. That's not right. So I want you to understand, if I want to make a negative exponent positive, all I got to do is just take this and move it up, from what? From underneath to what? Right up next to the 12. So that's going to be y to the power of 10. And that's your answer. So if you ever want to make a negative exponent positive, just move it up or move it down. Okay, well, one of my students already needs help with a problem that we haven't even started the work yet, but we'll see what his problem says. So go ahead. Open parentheses. 3 cubed. Oh, hold on. Times 6. Power of 6. Oh, so there's no fraction? Oh, well, I thought there was going to be some fraction. My apologies. All right, what's it to the power of? That's a horrible parentheses. Sorry about that. -3. I don't understand why he's asking me this, but that's okay. You're right, because we just actually went over what you do with negative exponents. 3 to the power of -9 times 6 to the power of -18. But what if I want to make the negative exponent positive? Did we just talk about that? Or? Very good. So watch this. I bet there's an answer choice that says this. So this over here, what did I have to do with that -5? I had to do what? Or sorry, -10, I had to do what with it? I had to move it up. This one, if I want to move it down, now it's positive. I take this and move it down, it's positive. That's your answer for yours. Okay? So ours was, I believe, this one. Let's do one more. Okay? We'll do one more, and then I'll let you guys go ahead and work on yours. Here we go. I've got 9 to the power of 6 times 7 to the power of -9, and that's raised to the power of -4. So I got to apply what's called the power property to this guy and to this guy, which basically just means you're distributing to your powers. So what do I have now? 9 to the power of -24 times 7 to the power of 36. Which one's good? I don't have to move it. Which one's the one that's like, it's okay, just keep where it is? 7 to the power of 36 says positive. But what if I wanted to make that -24 positive? Where do I shift it? Shift it down. There's my answer, which is right there. Okay? So if you ever want to make a negative exponent positive, either shift it up or shift it down below this fraction bar. Okay? And that's all you have to do to get 100. Good luck.